At least it's nutritious, Ren sighed while eating. As a cook's son, he could notice the lack of spices and the slightly overcooked point. Hey, it's better than having to make and pay for it ourselves, though I do miss the taste of salt. Little pupil! The cheerful voice made several heads turn. Professor Lin advanced between tables, attracting looks wherever she passed. It wasn't common to see teachers in the iron dining hall, especially one so attractive. Oh, Liu said, dropping his chopsticks. This is interesting. What is? Asked Ren as Lin approached. Master Lin never comes here. Liu lowered his voice. She's something of a legend in the academy. A legend? Min leaned in, interested. Her beast got stuck at Bronze 1. A shame, but her combat technique is incredible. They say she can defeat even masters with silver beasts in controlled duels. That's why she keeps her position here despite what? Asked Taro. Politics in the academy are complicated, Liu observed as Lin approached. Normally, a master with a beast of such low rank would be... Lin stopped at their table, and Liu stopped talking. Oh no, she murmured, seeing Ren's half-empty plate. No, you need to eat more than that. She sat beside them, ignoring the surprised whispers. How do you expect to develop muscles with that miserable portion of meat? No, you need at least triple. Professor, Ren blushed when she started filling his plate with more food. Students at nearby tables watched the scene in amazement. Some had even stopped mid-bite. The food here is, Ren began, simple, bland, graceless. Lin smiled. Of course it is, but, she pinched his cheek while serving him more, you need the energy for my training. Nearby students watched open-mouthed. Professor Lin, sitting with the gray wing students, personally serving food to the mushroom boy? Shouldn't we go to the mine after this? Taro asked, looking nervously around. To get crystals for cultivation? Oh, he'll have time for that, Lin smiled, while watching Ren eat every bite. After I'm done with him. Professor, Liu bowed respectfully. It's an honor. He blushed. Master Lin gives the best combat advice in the academy, Liu explained, glancing at the others. Though normally she only helps older students who've proven their worth. Oh, but this little one proved something today. Lin ruffled Ren's hair, making the mushrooms glow. You don't see someone use pure knowledge to defeat a technically superior opponent every day. The whispers intensified. Though first, she pushed another plate toward Ren. We need to work on your physical endurance. I can't have a student who faints after one fight. The mushrooms in Ren's hair pulsed nervously as she kept filling his plate. For some reason, her playful smile scared him more than all of Kai's blows. Professor, Min asked, fascinated by the whole situation. Is it true you once defeated a silver beast master? Oh, that old story, Lin sighed theatrically. Just luck. And the poor man was distracted by, well, that doesn't matter. What matters, her smile turned predatory as she looked at Ren, is that our little expert needs to learn that knowledge without technique is like a knife without an edge. But first, she pushed a third plate toward Ren. Eat. Everything. You're going to need the energy for what's coming. Lin's smile promised a training hell, but for some reason, Ren couldn't help smiling too. For the first time since arriving at the academy, he felt he'd found someone who truly saw his potential. Is this the training field? Ren observed the secluded area behind the gray wing while holding his enormous belly. It was a simple but functional space with packed earth ground and some basic equipment. The main fields are more impressive, Lin smiled while stretching, but here we'll have privacy. First things first, we need to build a solid foundation. Aren't we going to practice combat techniques? Ren asked. With those noodle arms? Lin shook her head. Your spore gives you 10% more strength, right? But 10% of almost nothing is still almost nothing. She approached a pile of logs. Most students depend too much on their beasts. A spirit tiger can give 30% more strength, but if the base body is weak, like me, Ren lowered his gaze. Like you now, Lin corrected. But that's going to change. You're going to train until that 10% really means something better than another 30%. Vomiting is forbidden. The next minutes were a succession of basic exercises, push-ups, squats, running. Nothing spectacular, nothing magical. Just the fundamental work needed to build a stronger body and prevent food from escaping his stomach. Technique will come later, Lin explained while correcting his posture. First, you need the strength to execute it properly. By the time they finished, Ren could barely stand. The mushrooms in his hair glowed faintly, as if they too were exhausted. Same place, tomorrow after classes. Lin threw him a towel. And Ren. Yes? Ren asked. This is just the beginning. Ren barely managed to drag himself back to the Grey Wing. Each step to the room was torture, and when he finally reached his bedroom, he only had strength to collapse on his bed. He didn't know how long he slept until the door noise woke him. The pain in every muscle reminded him of Lin's brutal training. It was better than expected, Min's voice came from the hallway. Thanks for showing us the best spots, Liu. The deposits near the surface are the easiest to identify, replied Liu as they entered. The trick is recognizing the crystallization pattern in the rock. With time, you'll learn to distinguish promising veins from depleted ones. Oh, you're awake, Taro noticed Ren. How was training? Can't move anything without it hurting. Ren tried to sit up and immediately regretted it. Just basic exercises, though they didn't feel so basic after the first hour. How did it go in the mines? He asked, trying to divert attention from his pitiful state. Liu taught us the basics. Min dumped his bag on his desk. I got 10 iron crystals. They're not very big, but for the first day, 12. Taro smiled, showing his own collection, though they're quite small. Liu displayed his findings more calmly. 15 iron crystals and 1 bronze. Experience helps identify the best veins.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.